Hello, my name is John Mulligan, and I'm a teacher here at San Mateo High School. Specifically, I teach special education to all grade levels, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. I teach primarily history classes, which include American government and economics. I teach U.S. history, which I'll be talking about tonight, and I also teach modern world history. Also included in my teaching responsibilities are two sections of what are called directed studies. But primarily my interest is in teaching, and I love teaching history specifically. And the course that I'm going to talk about tonight is my 11th grade or junior U.S. history class. First of all, I've had many of the students in my class before. I had them from modern world history. Some of them I've had in English class, so I know them pretty well. I know their learning strengths and I know their learning weaknesses, and I try to tailor my lessons towards them learning the best way they can on an individual basis. And I try to do things that work well for all the students, but also tailor make some of my lessons towards specific needs of the students. What I want to show you first is what you see here on the screen, and it's what's called my Canvas home page. You'll hear the term Canvas a lot, or you'll see it a lot in written materials you'll receive from the school. Canvas is simply the classroom management program we have. It is where teachers put all the information up for their classes. It's where students will submit assignments to their teachers. It's where students can find grades for those assignments. They can also find a host of other information for their class. But this year, because of the remote teaching due to the pandemic, teachers have simplified their classes. So they all kind of look the same on Canvas, and there's a consistency to them so that students can quickly find what they need because everything is structured the same way with each teacher. Think of Canvas as a classroom where all the materials are, and when you hear about Zoom, that's also the classroom where the materials are and the teaching takes place. I want to first take you to an area that I will go to often with your student, and that's an area here that I'm circling with my little mouse pointer called modules. And I'm going to go ahead and click that. This is where all the student work is found. A module is kind of like an electronic binder for your student. The teacher will put all of his or her things in that module or binder, and the student will put all their things that they submit to the teacher in this module. So if you are accessing your student's Canvas page at home, you can look in these modules, and that's where everything that's important can be found. Modules are broken down into these sections that all kind of begin with a gray bar. And this first section, simply class resources, some things about me, class Zoom links where students can get to the class easily, a syllabus that talks more about what we're studying, which we'll address in just a minute. But as you scroll down, you'll see things are broken down into weekly assignments. So for the first week of school, students were given these two assignments. Please share your thoughts A, and also please share your thoughts B. If we were to click on them, you would see the assignment, they would find the questions, and then be able to answer the questions right within this computer page and submit them to me for a grade. Last week we worked on getting more information from your student, having them write more. We began talking about history, and I asked them 10 questions about history and what they know. We also spent some time talking about my Zoom room rules. Zoom is the computer program where all the students could come online and be seen on a video camera by the teacher, and they can see the teacher. Well, when you do that, you have to have rules, and I came up with 10 rules for appropriately using Zoom. So maybe you can ask your student what those rules are and how they make for a safe classroom as well as a classroom where we can learn. We started taking notes last week. Why study history? That was a lecture where we did a PowerPoint, and students were instructed to write down the notes that they see on the screen. This week, we worked on the beginning of the United States, how the United States got started before there were any states. And students are going to be given a quiz on last week. They'll get this quiz tomorrow, which at the point of this recording is Thursday, September 3rd, and this will be very common for your student. That is, we'll cover about a week's worth of material, then they'll have a quiz. We'll cover another week's worth of material, and then they'll have a quiz, trying to keep it simple and very clear. But all of this information can be found within the module. Let's talk a little bit about what we'll be talking about in class this year. I'm going to hit the syllabus button. Now, this syllabus is basically an outline of my class. U.S. history is 7th period. We're going to cover 10 major subjects related to United States history. Students will learn each subject and how it influences our country today. So basically, we're going to talk about things in the past that affect the students' lives today. We're going to use mainly PowerPoint and Google Slides lessons where they can copy down notes and they'll see a lot of images to go along with those notes. We'll have some textbook assignments, some news magazine article assignments from Action or Newsella, and also the students will be seeing along in the lectures YouTube videos that help them better understand what happened in the past. As far as subjects that we're going to be covering, in the fall we're going to cover the colonies of North America, how they got started, how different they were. We'll cover the American Revolution, the big battle to win freedom. We'll look at westward expansion, how the people in the United States moved west, and how the United States got bigger and bigger. We'll study the big problem of a divided nation and the Civil War, and then we'll look at Reconstruction after the Civil War. In the spring, we'll cover the Industrial Age and immigration, World War I and the Depression. January, February, March, and April, we'll look at World War II and American growth. Then March and April, we'll look at the Cold War and civil rights. And then the last 2 months, we'll look at America through decades, the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Students will be graded primarily on note-taking and test. Their tests make up most of their grade, but they will use their notes on the test. They'll be given quizzes at times and also special projects, but mainly note-taking and test-taking. The best way to contact me if you want to get a hold of me is through Canvas messaging. You can send me a Canvas email message at jmulligan, J as in John, and spell Mulligan, M-U-L-L-I-G-A-N, at smhusd.org. That's a school address for my email. I check it all the time, and I will respond most any of the time of the day to that email. So that's the best way to reach me. Also, if you would like my personal cell number, I can make arrangements for that if it would help our communication. Just a little bit about myself. I'm married to my lovely wife, Elisa. We have 7 children between the 2 of us. I have 4 daughters, and she has 2 daughters and a son that we're all proud of. We have known each other since high school and dated then, and then found each other later in life. We enjoy things together, enjoy going to movies when you can go to movies. We enjoy cycling together around our beautiful Bay Area. Personally, I enjoy muscle cars. I have a Buick Grand National that I love, as well as a Dodge Charger. So I like things that keep me active and are enjoyable. And hopefully I'll get to meet you personally and learn about you and your life this year as hopefully your school comes back to normal. But thank you very much for your time and attention tonight. I appreciate you watching this video. It shows your care and interest in your child. Thank you very much.